Hey, it's Zach Braff from the new film Wish I Was Here, and you're watching JLTV.
Damn it!
Swear jar.
The swear jar is all the money we have to send you to college, so you should be happy I curse.
Well, if you can curse, then we all can curse. Is that what you want?
For the next minute only, you can curse.
Then hairy balls.
I'm gonna be laid up for a while. I'm gonna need you to watch Coco.
There's so much bad news all at once.
My brother and I wanted to write about what we knew, which was that we had grown up religious Jews. We were kosher. My brother had gone to yeshiva. I was raised conservative, and we were both. Although we loved the culture as adults, the culture and the family and the humor of Judaism, we felt that alienated from the organized religion aspect of it. But it's all we knew. So we were searching for our own spirituality individually. And I knew that my Christian friends could relate to that too, searching for a spirituality when the one that had been handed to you by your parents didn't quite fit you. It wasn't quite tailor-made or didn't feel like it fit. And so we wanted to write about that, you know, people in their 30s who have to begin to teach something to their children, who have to start to deal with the death of a parent, the most terrifying thing for me to imagine. Beginning to question their faith and saying, well, what aspects of this can I take, and what works for me? And he first goes to an older rabbi who doesn't know really how to communicate with him. He's sort of checked out. And then later in the film, it comes full circle, and he finds a younger rabbi who can consult him, who does know how to talk to a secular person and say, okay, zoom out, get rid of the semantics. What does work for you? What does mean something to you? And I think that was just really what I wanted the film to be about, the search for a modern spirituality.
What about my dream? I mean, doesn't God believe in my pursuit of happiness?
No.
Well, thank you.
Doing the research and in learning about the film, there were, I wasn't really aware of even the different levels of orthodoxy. And we shot the scenes in this film that take place in yeshiva. It was a modern Orthodox school, and whereas my brothers had gone to a very, very strict yeshiva and was stricter even than my parents' religion, the personal religion was. So I think that was confusing, and that's something that got folded in. Well, what happens when the kids are getting indoctrinated into a more religious school than even the parents are? All that stuff really, those questions really interested my brother and I.
Have a seat.
You know, I was kosher until I was 13.
Really?
Yeah, my father told me that I was officially a man at my bar mitzvah. So I told him that as a man, I wanted to have a bacon double cheeseburger. I think I saw his head explode. But to his credit, he let me eat whatever I wanted outside the house. I think I impressed him with my logic.
What brings you to Temple, Aiden?
When we were kids, my brother and I used to pretend we were these superhero spacemen. We'd go out to the woods behind our house and pretend it was this mystical planet, and we were the only ones who could save everybody. But I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Remembering those fantasies for the first time in like 14 years.
What do you think it means?
I don't know, and I'm even embarrassed to say this out loud, but if I can't say it to you, I can't say it to anybody. Do you think God is trying to tell me something? Trying to guide me in some way? And if you say he works in mysterious ways, I will run out that door.
Our studio would never make a film that had such strong Jewish themes. You have to make it in unique ways to be able to get a film like this made. So I really hope the Jewish community checks it out, because it was very hard to get a film with Jewish themes made. I think of the movie Fat Creek Wedding, which so many people went, okay, I'm not Greek and I don't have that experience, but man, is that my family? And I think that anyone, insert your organized religion here. I think everyone can relate to these questions of faith. A real great opportunity to learn by doing. In making films, you can only sit in the classroom so much. You got to get out there and you got to make films. You got to do it. There was a lot of, encouragement to just make movies, and then little by little learn and have them get better and work in every aspect of film. I got to work in every department and really get a really rounded experience. Sure, we'll see how people respond to it. Obviously, I hope they like it as much as all the people that worked really hard on it do. I'm doing Bullets Over Broadway now, the Woody Allen musical, so I'll be doing this for the rest of the year, and then I hope to make another movie in the beginning of next year.
Your boys will remember this time for the rest of their lives. It will shape who they are as men.
We both spent our entire lives wishing we could be something great. And now we're finally called upon to do something that requires some actual bravery.
I think all of the projects that I do are different. And this one was really special for me because I was working with my friend who I believe in, Zach, and I love his aesthetic and I love his work and I love his talent. He's a beautiful writer. He's a great director. I loved Garden State, and it was just one of those things that when you know someone so intimately and then you get to work with them creatively, it lends itself to being a blast, an absolute blast, and you trust them. And then to have the experience of watching it and enjoying the movie myself, it's just such a, all in all, a really wonderful experience. Most of us in the cast are, Jewish, and yet I think the one thing that this movie is a big part of this film is spirituality. What is one's spirituality? What is it when you grow up in a very specific religion, and maybe you start questioning what that is, and you start questioning if it's something that you relate to or that you believe in. But it really does come down to the importance of spirituality to me personally, and what, the beauties of religion bringing this community to people, and this feeling of community and support. And for those who don't have that belief, where does their belief come from? Where does their faith come from? Where is their community? What is it? And I think it's a very, very timely conversation to have, especially in Western cultures. If it was that synagogue, then we were there, we were taking my grandma, and my grandma was not doing well at the time, and she very much, at the time, very much wanted to connect with her religion, and we went in and she put the hearing aid, she got the things because she couldn't hear very well, so we got her these little earphones so she could hear. And we turn around and we hear all this like ruckus happening, and we turn around and my grandmother has them over her eyes, thinking that they're gonna be like glasses, and she's going, "I can't see a damn thing." And we just lost it in the synagogue. It was one of those moments that could have actually been in this movie. My grandma is Laura Steinhoff, Hungarian, and very, very, traditionally Jewish. She was religious, but not extremely religious. But she was Jewish, and her father was Baptist. As we know, in the Jewish religion, if your mother's Jewish, you're Jewish. And so, whereas my brothers would be a quarter, I guess I would be considered full.
This is our father. You have to rally with me.
Absolutely not.
What's happening?
This
Oh
What the?
You let her shave her head?
No, I was just innocently playing video games with the boy one.
Tucker.
Tucker, great kid.
It's funny, I'm always fascinated by the fact that there are so many Jews in Hollywood, but they're also afraid of exploring the themes of Judaism, you know, for whatever reason. And I think that this movie works so well because it uses Judaism as a backdrop, but it's about the idea of spirituality. And I think that everybody shares and can identify with the same themes, whether you're Jewish, whether you're Muslim, whether you're Catholic, whether you're Buddhist, about dealing with spirituality in the face of adversity. That is a universal theme, no matter where you come from, any walk of life. But the fact that it uses Judaism as that prism, I think, is part of what makes it so unique, because we haven't seen that often. I grew up in a very Jewish household. You know, I was somebody who would go to temple every Saturday as a kid, and we kept a kosher household, and it was one of those things where kind of, you know, that was what we did. Those traditions were very important in my house, not only because my father was religious, but because my grandparents were both Holocaust survivors. And so carrying on those traditions was very important. So the themes in the film were very relevant to my own life because I've been down that path. And I've also, you know, confronted issues with questioning my own spirituality and my relationship to spirituality, and gone through the peaks and valleys of youth and having to struggle with identifying with, you know, these issues in dealing with loss, in dealing with pain, in dealing with a lot of these issues. And I feel like this character in this movie is somebody who shuts himself off to that. He's somebody who completely shuts down and doesn't allow himself any sort of recognition of spirituality whatsoever. That's not something that I can necessarily relate to, but it's something that I called upon in terms of, you know, colleagues and friends and knowing people who have kind of become shells.
Welcome to Aston Martin.
Now, kids, it's really about what it sounds like when you floor it from a full stop.
There will be no flooring it from a full stop.
No, sir. Thank you.
My grandfather is 95 years old and is a survivor in every, you know, in every sense of the word. He survived not only the Holocaust, but he's continued to survive disabilities and all sorts of mishigas that he's dealt with. He is my hero in life because he took what could have been an opportunity to shut down, watching his entire family slaughtered, and instead chose to rise up to the occasion, to become a hardworking tailor in New York City, to provide means for his children to get the kind of education that they needed, and created a lifestyle that sheltered everybody from the pain and from the nightmares that he had to go through. And he's never asked for sympathy. He's never looked at the cards that he was dealt and said, why me? Instead, he always said, what can I do now that I was given the gift of survival? That, to me, is everything. It means everything in my life, and it's what's guided me, I think, towards success in many ways.
You can pick anyone you want, just as long as it's unique and amazing like you.
I'm scared.
I know. I want you to jump in. I'm going to be here for you.
I love this film. I love it. There is a lot of, because my character is very religious, and you know, my mom's side of the family is Jewish, and when my grandma found I was doing this film, she was like, "Oh my God, that's so cool! Let's make fried matzah to celebrate." So, it's an incredible film, and you get to see Aiden's character, Zach's character Aiden. He struggles with finding who he is and what he believes in, and you get to see him go through that struggle. And his daughter really is very religious, and her family isn't. So it's a really great transition to see her go through everything and see her go through trying to fit in, but be different at the same time.
What are we doing out here?
I'm showing you one of the coolest places on Earth. I'll race you to the top. Wow! Look at those legs! Look at the little legs, our fastest! This is it. This is the spot.
What is it?
This is the spot where I had one of the deepest, most sincere spiritual moments of my life. The last time I had an epiphany, it was right here.
What's an epiphany?
An epiphany is when you realize something that you really needed to realize. It's, you know, sometimes in life you can get kind of stuck and you feel like you should have changed chapters by now, but you can't.
It was amazing. Filming this movie was so fun. It was incredible. I love my cast so much. The crew was amazing. The story is beautiful, and everything that happens in this film is just great. Zach and Adam did such a good job in writing this film. And I think that what they were really trying to go for is every family goes through something, whether, you know, hard times. Every family goes through hard times, no matter what. And it's really trying to capture, excuse me, the fact of you have to, they want you to feel like even if some of the things in this movie aren't going on in your family life right now, you will relate to this film. Because everyone goes through things, and in this movie, everyone's going through something. Every single character has a problem of their own. But it's also a really funny movie too, and it's lighthearted, but it also makes you cry a lot. No matter what religion you are, no matter what your belief is, this movie can relate to everyone, because everyone has had trouble with, let's say, because, you know, finding themselves, finding what even they believe in, finding, you know, they have financial issues, they have someone in the family who is important to them, they lost. This movie goes through so many things that everyone can relate to, no matter what religion you are, no matter what you believe in. It's just a very pure and real movie.
I was touched by it when I read it. I was very grateful that Zach wrote it, and then he asked me to play his dad. You know, some things I guess are beshert. You just don't know why they happen, and I'm very grateful to it. There I am, a dad. I have 2 sons. I didn't do everything right. I want to try to let them know I love them. If you love somebody, tell them. That's what I think's at the top of everyone's list. And just be there, be present. Try to turn that dark into light before it's over. And this movie was a fictional tale of everything I want to have happen. You know, not the difficult stuff, but everybody has difficult stuff. Nobody's perfect. You know, it's called being a human being, and I love the story. Oh, this is not a Jewish movie as far as I'm concerned. This is a universal movie about a family. It just happens to be told by a guy named Zach Braff, who happens to be Jewish. And I feel for all of us, wherever you're from, you should tell your story, your tale. Tell your truth. And just like my Yiddish piece, it was the Asian and the African-American musicians who worked on my other albums, who sat there in the studio, came up to me afterwards and said, "We worked on all your albums. This is the one that got us the most." And we couldn't understand a single word of it. And then I went and performed at places, and non-Jews would come up to me, and finally I realized it was the experience of connecting to your heritage that they were relating to. That was the lesson of my Yiddish album. That's the lesson of this movie, to take a walk in your heritage, with your parents, with where you're from. Don't miss it. Let the music of their lives wash over you. Let the sounds of their lives wash over you. Live it. Eat the food together. Have a meal. Celebrate. And that's the connection. That's the connective emes of it all.
Google, no. Google! Sorry. I know you can't stand the dog. He's usually so well trained.
If you trained that dog to piss everywhere but the lawn, then you did an incredible job.
Pool looks good. What are you growing, typhoid or hepatitis? What's going on with the fence? Got a nice little slice of Mumbai back here, Aiden.
Yummy, zing mich a little der, was das Mädel will. Das Mädel will a paar Schechle haben.
Damn it!
Swear jar.
The swear jar is all the money we have to send you to college, so you should be happy I curse.
Well, if you can curse, then we all can curse. Is that what you want?
For the next minute only, you can curse.
Then Harry balls.
I'm gonna be laid up for a while. I'm gonna need you to watch Google.
There's so much bad news all at once. What about my dream? I mean, doesn't God believe in my pursuit of happiness?
No.
Well, thank you.
This is our father. You have to rally with me.
Absolutely not.
What's happening? This. Oh my God.
You let her shave her head?
No, I was just innocently playing video games with the boy one.
Tucker.
Tucker, great kid.
You can pick anyone you want, just as long as it's unique and amazing like you.
Your boys will remember this time for the rest of their lives. It will shape who they are as men.
We both spent our entire lives wishing we could be something great. And now we're finally called upon to do something that requires some actual bravery.
Welcome to Aston Martin.
Now, kids, it's really about what it sounds like when you floor it from a full stop.
There will be no flooring it from a full stop.
No, sir.
Thank you.
I'm scared.
I know. I want you to jump in. I'm going to be here for you. When we were kids, my brother and I used to pretend that we were heroes, the only ones who could save the day. But maybe we're just the regular people, the ones who get saved.